All right, it sure looks like we are live, and we are here with the great Terry Shannon. And this is my first live stream in a while. And live streams are a little bit nerve wracking because there's a lot of technology flying around the place. And I see we already have 38 people in the room. Thank you guys for joining us. A lot of multitasking. I've said many times in my videos, I'm a lousy multitasker. But you know what? This was too much of an opportunity. I have read, I think, all of Terry's books. And in fact, if you go to the video description right now, there are links, um, for all of his books. So, by all means, go there. We're going to have some giveaways happening tonight. We have autographed copies of Terry's books. And we have some stuff. We have some XP stuff that we're going to be giving away. But I see the chat right over here. Terry, what I should have done is I should have shown you how to see the chat. Can you see the chat on the side?
No, I can't see it.
Okay, I can highlight some comments. I remember this. So show Terry the legend.
They call me the legend down there. And it's stuck. I mean, it's just amazing.
We're getting a lot of love. My two favorite detectorists. Greetings from St. Petersburg Beach.
Those are good people down there.
Yeah. Greetings from Cocoa Beach. And I heard you mention that in one of your books. I just saw it today.
Yeah, I've this chain I'm wearing right here, this gold chain, Cocoa Beach.
That's awesome. Today was my first day back in school. And listen, we're going to get to, asking Terry a lot of questions. I see we suddenly have 77 people here. It was my first day back in school, and one of my co-teachers grabbed my hand, and it was like, "Is that a new ring?" And I was like, "Yeah, I found it this summer. I'm not wearing it right now, but it's part of the fun of metal detecting." Let me acknowledge a few more, and let me also say that your questions are absolutely crucial to this stream, as is my mental processing power, because my mental processing power will allow us to get to the questions. But I have a lot planned here. Like, I made some videos that we're going to watch together in the stream with Terry, and Terry's going to reflect on them, and you're going to get a chance to ask questions. And if I multitask right, and again, there's a big if with that, I'm going to do my best. If I multitask right, you're going to get a chance to ask Terry questions, reflect off of his comments, and I thank you all for being here. So moving down, let me just read a few more comments as people are coming in. Then we really get started. Let me just read off some of the names and just acknowledge. We got Edward G. We got Beach Metal Detectives. We got Kelly Dobbs. Hello from Sioux City, Iowa. Florida Metal Detecting. That Flies. Mark Trailer. Terry. Hey, Terry from Cape Cod. Yeah, let me show the comments. Forgive me to the other people. Hello, Merrill and Terry. Hiya. Terry Ray Turner from Sioux City says hi. Now, this is one of your neighbors, and we met him at the Florida event that we did together. This is my buddy Robert Crespo. This is the king of Orchard Beach up here in New York, and he's right by you on the Treasure Coast.
I believe I have met him. I think I've talked to him one time.
He was with both of us, yes, when we went to the Sunshine Silver event.
Oh, okay.
What's up, my brother Rob? Jade Furman is here. Christina, you made it. Thank you. Frank's Fly Traps. The books that were given away today are all autographed. You better believe it. Nevada Metal Detecting. Go, 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 indeed. Look, we got pressure on us, Terry. You see this? Looking forward to the knowledge shared tonight.
I'll try to own up to it.
That was my line. I was about to say the same thing. Jim Collins, greetings, Terry.
How you doing, Jim?
Digging Up New York. Hey, guys, what's up, Digging Up New York? Jim McLaughlin. Hey,
now,
Terry.
This guy is pretty special. He has worked for about a month on my latest book. when I tell everyone when I was had English in high school, that's when I met my wife, and I missed it all. So I can't spell or punctuate or anything. Jim is the one that does it for me. And how you doing, Jim? And I thank you dearly.
Right on, Jim. Heavy Metal Detectors, Kentucky. Good evening, everyone from Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining us. Beach Metal Detectives, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate the support. Definitely going to help with the mailings. We're going to give out a lot tonight. So thank you so much for the support with that. Frederick Romano, what's up?
How you doing, Fred?
Metal Detective North Holland. Good evening from the Netherlands. We are officially international right now, Terry.
I'm honored. Very honored.
Yes. Anthony here in Vero. What's up, buddy?
Anthony, is trying to straighten me out on a whole bunch of different issues and doing a good job of it.
Got it. Dad Flies, hello from Boynton Beach. A lot of Florida in the house. Hello, shipmate Terry from Central Florida. Michael, Busy Bee Detecting.
How you doing, shipmate?
Oh my goodness, we got so much. Going down. Okay, wife picked up your book for me in Vero. I'm
You
just
call a
skimming
wife
really
like
quick.
that a keeper. No.
All right, so we're getting a lot of comments here. I'm barely going through. Oh my goodness. We just got a super sticker from Digging Up New York. I think you guys have already covered my shipping costs. So thank you. There's a lot to give away right now. And you know what? We're going to do one video segment. And then for the first time, and God, I hope I don't screw this up. Think positive, Merrill. Think positive. We're going to do our first giveaway because we got a lot to give away tonight. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. Hey, Adele, Yodi's Finds. I just appreciative of everybody being here. Biker Chick Lee, Billy McD. We got 124 in here. All right, they want the show to start, so let's start. We got the great Terry Shannon here, and I've said before many times, and I'll say it again. In terms of people that I learned from, I love Terry's books. He's got a gift for not only like being a great educator, he sprinkles in the instruction, and he's such a great storyteller. And the instruction is there. His books are absolute works of art, and I have them linked in the video description. I'm hoping at the end of this, maybe instead of giving me a super chat, and I'm appreciative, buy some of Terry's books. It's going to help you. It's going to go to you, and just click on that, and definitely, it's something that helped me. I can definitely endorse that. So the way I have this structured is I made some videos and excerpts from Terry's books, and we're going to take a look at that. And Terry is going to give us his thoughts. So let's actually start with the first one. Here we go. The first excerpt that I'm going to read is from Terry's book, Treasure Coast's Treasures, and it's about his first Spanish coin. That next fall, when we returned to Florida, I was more determined than ever. Then we had a storm with high winds that lasted for 3 full days. On day 4, it was just unreal. The beach just out from our camper was really eroded, and the detecting was fantastic. I was finding so many old white encrusted fishing sinkers that I ran back to our camper and got a 5-gallon plastic pail to dump my finds into. I was finding all kinds of stuff, many coins and a total of 5 rings. Then it happened. A Spanish 2 real dated 1701. I could see the cross and make out the date 701 on the bottom. Man, was that a thrill. I put it in my pocket, took 3 or 4 steps, and took it out and looked at it again. I bet I looked at that coin a dozen times before I returned home. And here's an image of the coin. And here's an image of it cleaned up. Terry, now here is my question. You mentioned that you went to a museum in your book. How far do you estimate this shipwreck was that these coins came in and ended up on the beach? And what does this say overall to treasure hunters about possibilities of beach metal detecting?
Okay, I firmly believe that these coins wash up and down the beach, and you can find Spanish coins anywhere along that beach, along the treasure coast. This particular one, that was what we talked about, was my very first Spanish coin, and it's got a date of 701. You can see it on the bottom. I had to put in this bezel, and to my knowledge, this is the only one known to exist. This is what I was told. And I talked about the 5 rings that I found out there. Here is that day, one of the 5 rings. This is an old mine cut diamonds. The diamonds are just rough stones. And it's set, I think the gold is like 14 karat or above. And it's not marked. I don't know how old it is in that, but it's just a beautiful ring. Sorry for being, but it was just unreal that day. I just dug so much, and like I said, I had a 5 gallon pail dumping the sinkers in it. I think there was like 140 some silver modern coins. It was a great time. And that wreck is 600 yards out. It's at 43 foot of water, and it's about 2 foot under the soil. And that is the farthest one out that I know of. Most of them are in like 10 feet of water or less. They sank when they went over the reefs, and the reefs took them on about. And when that happens, when the bottom comes out of those ships, all the treasure drops down there, but the ship keeps going. It doesn't have a bottom now, doesn't have the ballast, and then it can go for miles yet. So finding the ship, it's great, but finding the ballast pile is where the payday.
Wow. That is incredible. So something you said 600 yards out and eventually making the beach. And, that goes to show the power of the ocean and the unpredictability of the ocean, and 1701 coin. So do you remember the year that you found that?
I would say it was probably 2005. It was when the first year I went down there. I mean, I didn't find any. I worked my tail off. I was there when other people found them, but I didn't get one. And then this coin here was my very first coin. And talk about exciting. I mean, I looked at that thing 30 times. It was just, it was just really exciting. And now it's harder. It's so much harder. They're so-called replenishing the beach or renourishing the beach, and they're just dumping tons of garbage sand on top of all of the beach stuff, and they're just killing it. The stuff washes out, and I didn't find any Spanish coins last year. The year before, I got 3. And I got a real beautiful 8 real. I got a 4 real, and then I got this one.
So I just put in the chat right now, ask your questions for Terry now. I'm doing my very best to keep up with your comments. I saw a good one a second ago, but I'm going to be checking because I don't want it to just be me talking. I want to open up the floor to you guys. This is an opportunity to really ask Terry questions. I've got so many myself. Let me find. Give me 1 second. Chat was moving so fast that I might have lost this one. But if you could just give me a second.
If we don't get to them, maybe they should re-ask.
Re-ask, yes, that's what you could do. This was it. I saw this going through. And by the way, Gerard Gannon is the Northeast, arguably famous pirate coin hunter of New Jersey. So this is a very appropriate question. Who was Terry's mentor from one pirate coin hunter to another?
I didn't have a mentor per se. I had a partner down there, Jerry Pope, and he's one of the finest individuals that I ever met. And he and I, to begin with, doing the videos and that. But when I started metal detecting, I detected for about a year up here in Minnesota. And then I joined a club, Tri-State Treasure Hunters out of North Dakota. And I went to that very first meeting, and I learned more in that meeting than I did for the whole year on my own. I really recommend that if you're going to metal detect, if there's a club nearby, join a club. There's no downside to belonging to a club. and you're going to meet some amazing people and make some, really good, solid friends.
This is okay. Listen, this is kind of a loaded question. What's up, Willie? How are you? I love this question. You'll see why in a second. What the question is? What kind of machine does Terry use?
Okay, I use the XP Deus 2. You know, I also on occasion use the Noka Legend, and believe it or not, I still have one of the AT Pros, and it's about 20 years old, and I'm still using that occasionally in the water. But
What was your? Oh,
my
sorry.
favorite machine is the Deus 2. I mean,
Right
I've
on.
done well with that machine. It just talks to me.
Right on. What was your first detector?
My very first, that was quite a story. My wife bought me one from Radio Shack or someplace like that. She spent way too much money. I think it was like $40, and then of course it ended up in the closet. And what happened? I was
Wow.
down, and I live in a small town. We have a meat market, and there was a detector. I think it was a Garrett East 150 there, and it was leaning against the wall. I said, What's the story on the detector?" He said, "It's for sale." I said, "What do you want for it?" He said, $75. Boy, I forgot what I come in to buy. I had walked out with that detector. I got home, opened it up, and he had left the batteries in it, and it was just corroded, see. And I called him back, and he said, "Well, I'll give you your money back." I know the guy. And I said, "No, I want this detector. I'm going to fix it." So I took a whole day and took it all apart, rewired it, and put in, new batteries and stuff. I went out in my yard, and when I swung the detector, when the coil got over the ground, it made a sound. And I figured, boy, that didn't take long. So I took a couple steps, another sound, another step, sound. Every time that coil went over the ground, it made a sound. I got so mad. I figured I worked hard my whole life. I want to detect. So I hopped into my car, drove to Fargo, 50 miles. They had a metal detector shop there, and I went in. And I said, "I want a metal detector," and he come out with a 150. I said, "No, I got that one. I want the very best you got." And what he did is he came out with the Mind Lab Explorer, I think it was, and he wanted $1,200 for that machine. And I said, and he told me that's the one he used. And I said, "Well, can I give you $600 cash and a check for $600?" And he said, "You can give me a check for the whole amount." I said, "No." I said, "I want to give you some cash because I don't want my wife to know how much I'm spending for this thing." That's a pretty expensive. But anyway, I went home, to make a long story short, went home, went to the same spot, and every time my new machine got up and made a noise, I was walking up the copper tubing for my propane tank for my furnace. So there
Oh,
was nothing wrong with the first detector. But what happened is I got a very good top of the line detector, and I started out by finding good things, and the enthusiasm grown. These people who go to the Walmart and get a cheap detector, it's going to hang in the closet. Eventually you're going to get disgusted.
Terry, we've
Sorry for
got
the long answer.
178 people in here, and the chat is going really, really fast. Now, you answered most of this already. When did you start treasure hunting? You told us the how and the story behind it. Perhaps
I was a late starter, probably 2004. And,
2004.
and
Okay.
that was probably the same year that we started going to Florida. And I've done really well up here in Minnesota. I have an old trading post I go to, cellar holes, and of course the Otter Tail River. I've done really well in that river. You know.
Another question: do you ever hunt freshwater beaches like Great Lakes? And what are the differences, freshwater versus saltwater?
Well, for one thing, you don't get the interference in the freshwater, but I haven't hunted the Great Lakes or anything like that. I've hunted the lakes here in Minnesota. And when I first started, my gosh, was I doing well, you know. And then all of a sudden, I started going to these beaches, and there was holes here and holes there, And eventually, it just drove me out, and I started detecting the river. And that was a good move because I did really well in that river. They had been tubing in that river for 25 years. I grew up on that river, and I was getting 100 to 80 to 100 rings every year out of there. Some really good rings.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, moving down. So let's see. Here's a good one. So, is it storms that drag the heavy coins up on shore?
Well, that's they do. My Jerry Pope and myself and one other friend, we got 5 8 reals. In fact, this is the one that I found. I only found one of the 5, but 8 reals one day. And when I found this, it was laying on top, right on top. The detector looked off. I looked down, I could see the coin. Wasn't clean like it. I had to clean it. But this one was washed out. It come out of the dunes. See that these 1715 is over 300 years ago. And a lot of these coins are way back in the dunes. And actually, when they were started salvaging that stuff, there was pirates that come in. And so when they would salvage a few, they'd bury them too, to keep them away from the pirates. So, uh, that day we had 5. This one come out of the dunes. It was in beautiful shape. The other 4 were washed in, and they were in terrible shape. They had just corroded so much, and when they come out of the water, they're black. When they come out of the dunes, they're green.
So we have about 200 in the audience right now. So people coming in, joining us in the chat. No, I'm sorry, not in the chat. In the video description of this video, you're going to see links to Terry's books. If any of you are pondering super chat, what I ask instead, buy one of his books. It's going to help you. It's in the chat. No, it's not in the chat. It's in the video description. So just open up that and you'll see a link to his books on Amazon. And I'm telling you, it is a beach treasure hunter's must. The way that he tells the story, it is so well done. Let's see. Now, one of my videos is actually the topic of this. This could be a teaser for that. One of the videos I'm going to be showing tonight, that is. And we briefly spoke about this, Terry, phases of the moon. Does king tide or moon phase make a difference?
It makes a huge difference. In fact, when people contact me and say they're planning a trip to the Treasure Coast, I tell them, do yourself a favor and look up and try to get down there on a full moon or a new moon. See, when you get the full moon, you get the very plus high tides and you get the low tides, extreme low tides. So you got more beach to hunt. And really, the vast majority of the Spanish coins that I found, I haven't found that many, but I found quite a few, yes, but have been found up high. They've been up there. What you need to do is look for erosion. I found this coin here, and this is the oldest coin. They believe it's the oldest coin ever found on the Treasure Coast, 1544.
Ooh.
It's not dated. It's a Carlos new one. I found 2 that day, and the way I found them, it was a full moon. So the tides were way out. I'm walking down by the water, and as I looked off to my left, I could see a bunch of orange spots. What this was is the ghost crabs digging into the sand, and the orange sand was the original sand. So you got the new sand on there, it was dark color, and you got this orange sand. And I seen all these orange spots up there. I went up there. I hunted for 3 days and pulled out a ton of coins, but I got 2 of these 1,500 coins. And they believe it's the oldest coin ever found on the Treasure Coast. And because of ghost crabs, So, and also when on the full moon, when you get a full moon, if you get some erosion up high or close to up high, every day after the full moon, after that big plus tide, it's going to recede a little bit, and it's going to recede a little bit. And if you've got an area that it's not reaching, when I found these coins here, it dawned on me that it's going to be another 2 weeks before we have a full moon under the tide. So I got a 2-week window to hunt high. I normally hunt low, but I hunted high. I did really well. I didn't find any more Spanish coins, but boy, I found a lot, all of it up high. Does that answer the question?
I would say so for sure.
I get excited. I'm sorry, I talk too fast, and it's just such a wonderful.
You're arguably metal detecting's greatest storyteller, so we love listening to you talk. So you take the time. I'm interested in this too. What is the best time of year to hunt the Treasure Coast?
Actually, it would be in the fall. It depends on the storms. Watch the storms. A couple of years ago, they had the hurricane hit right by our area. And, I left early. I normally get down there the 1st of October. And I left early. We were packed up and on the way because I wanted to get out on that beach. And as I crossed the border into Florida, I got a call from Jerry Pope and said, slow down. The storm has turned and it's going to mess us up. But the best time, actually, I think, is probably, after the first of the year. That's when I've done the best.
Okay.
Yeah, you get your sand movement. The sand movement in the summer, kind of comes back to the north. And in the wintertime, it heads south. and it just you get the erosion to the south, and that's my day starts out. Most of the time, I'm driving down beaches, checking different beaches, looking for low spots. That's the key. You can have the best detector in the world, and if your coins are 4 or 5 feet down, you're just not going to find them.
Got it. Um, what is the oldest coin Terry found metal detecting? Was it that one from the 1500s?
Yeah, that I think would be my oldest coin. Yes, you know, and I got
Okay.
two. This one is in just phenomenal shape, and the other one, I give it to Steve Hodges. He's an expert down there. He has a coin shop to clean up, and it took him a year, but we can definitely tell it's a 4 real, but it's half the size of the 2 real. If it was that worn.
Okay. So I'm doing my best with this, everybody. I see a ton of comments. I'm trying to like manage time also. Um, I want to keep it moving for other people who want to see it. Like we have some more video segments. I also want to get to the giveaways. So let's do this. Let me just look for a few more questions that we haven't answered. He's touched on everything a little bit, and
One of the things that while you're looking there on the beach, you should have a multi-frequency detector. I think that's very, very important.
agreed.
Because the beaches are so highly mineralized. If you have a single frequency, you're going to have trouble. I normally when I hunt like 3 hours before low tide, and I will try to follow the waves out because as the waves are going out, they're dropping sand. And so by following, I'm going to get wet, but I'm also going to be reaching areas that an hour later you can't. They're going to be too deep.
Forgive me if I skipped through so many questions. I could only process so much. I'm doing my best here. This is I like the stories in Terry's books so much, and he's full of these, and I'm curious about this one too. Not asking what your best find was, asking what was your most memorable find, Terry?
Well, without a doubt, it was my first coin. There's no question about that. That coin got looked at 15 times. And when I found it, I was so close to my camper. We had a faithful camper that I could see the camper, and I still would take a couple steps, take it out and look at it. I mean, it was just a dream come true. How you
Okay.
doing, Phil? Phil's a good man. Phil Myers, he's got the detecting shop down in Tampa.
Sure is. I was just a guest on their show a few weeks ago. Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm honored to call that man a friend.
Ooh, okay. Here's one for you. We'll make this last question. And listen, if I didn't get to your question, just ask it again. You might have to spam the chat. I'll do my best to get to these. We're planning. We'll stay on as long as Terry is comfortable staying on. I don't want to impose, being on too long. But ask the questions. I want to do the giveaway in a second. I want to see if the giveaway actually works. I've never done this before, but I think I think we got this now. Um, Someone had asked how Mr. Terry cleans his coins.
Okay, I clean a lot of them by just throwing them in a tumbler with Dawn dish soap. Soak them for a little bit first and like ammonia and that. The real tough ones, you use a solution of sulfuric acid and water. And I believe, and double checking this because I'm really bad, but always add the acid to the water, I believe, because it could be dangerous to do it outside. And wrap the coin, about 7 times in tinfoil, and then tighten it down, drop it into that muriatic acid and the solution, the 50-50 solution. And
Wow.
this coin will bounce all the way around. And when it quits bouncing, fish it out. You'll have to have something to fish it out with. And the tinfoil will be gone. Then rinse it off because it has acid on it. Rinse it off, and then grab some baking powder or baking soda and just rub it with your thumbs, just kind of like that. And that's what cleans them up. You might have to do it 2 or 3 times, but
Wow.
most of the time it'll.
I've never heard of that method. That's incredible. I'm going back to this part of the video and I'm listening again. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, over in England, a lot of times they'll take tinfoil
Yeah.
and spin in it, and then wrap the coin on this tinfoil and rub it, and just your saliva, it'll clean it.
Acidic, I guess, or it makes. I don't know the chemistry to that. I'm
I
not even going to speculate. That's pretty cool. All
I
right.
think about a lot of
Sorry.
things I know nothing about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: you can't argue with the end result. Can you give us a close up of that? Your first one, the one that you're wearing right now.
This, like I said, this was a highlight, and you can see the bottom. See very lightly the 701. That's 1701. They only had 3 letters. Some of the 1600 coins will just have 2 letters. Like I've got one that says 64, so that's 1664. You know, and it's in great shape. I had it put in this bezel, and you know when I wear this, my chest sticks out a little farther than my stomach. One of those rare times.
Florida metal detecting. That was very, very, very generous of you. Thank you so much. You've definitely covered all of the shipping costs, and I thank you so much. We got a lot to give away. Let me actually start giving away. Yeah, you say donate a book. We've actually got 5 that we can give away tonight, and these it's special books. These are all autographed by Terry. So by all means, let's do that. I hope to God I don't screw this up. I've never done a giveaway before, so please forgive me if I screw this up. Let me do this. All right. So what you got to do?
This Florida metal detecting is a friend of mine. He is a
Oh,
super guy. You know.
that's incredible. Very appreciative. All right. So in a moment, let me press the button here first. Start collecting comments. What you guys are going to do, I think I have to share my screen right now. Merrill, you could do this. You could do this, Merrill. Present, share screen. Oh my God. Choose. Here we go. Share. So this is what you got to put in the chat. Okay. I've never done this before. I hope to God I did not screw this up. You're putting hashtag Terry in the chat. And I see you guys doing that. And I'm going to give you guys another minute to do that. Keep going with that. Now, if you win, you'll also notice that my email address is in the it's in the video description. So if you win, you're going to email me, and you're going to send me your you can email me your address. Keep going. I'll give you guys another second. You only have to put it in once. I mean, you could spam it if you want. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I'm amazed at you know 107 entries already. You know, I thank all you people.
Yeah, that's incredible. We got 257 people in here, Terry. So you've affected a lot of people.
Well, I'm honored. It's my honor by far.
125 entries. And listen, we got a few of these. Terry was very generous. He gave me a bunch of books, and we're giving them back. All right, so we got 126, 127. Get them all in. Get them all in. 128. 129.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, it's slowing down. Get your last ones in if you're just joining us. And let's press draw. Let's see if this works. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. Dan Jones. Okay, Dan Jones. So you just won. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the video description, and right underneath the links to Terry's books, what you're going to do is you're going to email me, and I will send you that book. Stop sharing. Oh my God, we did it. I'm like mind blown right now. That was really successful right there. So, oh my goodness.
Proud of you, Merrill.
Thank you, Terry. That means a lot.
Next time we get together, I need your autographs. It just...
But for sure, Terry, that's it. So thank you. Team Lynch, thank you for your continued support too. I just caught that too. You just became a member of my channel again. You've been there since the beginning, so thank you. Okay, so that's one book. Now, do you guys want to do another giveaway right now? Like, yes or no? We could continue with this. Look, you're getting a lot of love, Terry.
Okay.
Terry is the greatest of all time. That is for sure.
I don't think I've ever been called a goat before.
that
Is that good or bad?
is the biggest compliment. The one time, well, the first time that I got called the goat, I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean by that? And then I was like, oh, greatest of all time. So big compliment.
Well, my career in life was law enforcement. In fact, I was a sheriff in Becker County. You ought to
Yeah.
hear what I've been called.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate the blue here. So thank you for your service. That's for sure. Many police officers in my family. All right, they want another. They want another giveaway. So this time, I got to do this. I got to do this, and I do believe in this. That's the truth. We're giving it's this way, giving away a Deus T-shirt. Now, don't be offended. I'm going to give you it in a size bigger than what you ask for because, they're great shirts. I wear them all the time. The French are very fit. Okay. It's made in France. The French are very fit. I'm usually an extra large. I take a 2XL. That's too much information. I know, but that's a 2XL. So let's go giveaway tool and let's go back. And
I'm wearing one of your shirts also, Merrill.
yes, sir. I saw that.
But I don't like to wear them in the rain because then I just don't have the body anymore. Wet T-shirts on me.
You're in great shape, my friend.
Exactly.
So this time, Deus 2 is what we're going to put in the chat. And it's a shirt. We're not giving away a Deus 2. Let me do, hold on. I got this right the first time. Start collecting comments. Let me share the screen again. Oh, geez, I already forgot how to do that. Here we go. Present, share screen. All right, this is what you're doing right now. Deus 2. Listen, people, when you email me, also, you have to tell me what you won. I mean, I'll go back and I'll check, but tell me what you want. We got 12 entries. Deus 2, 21, 32, 47, 63.
That's pretty good.
76, 90. They don't wear it on the runways of Paris, but they do wear it on the runways of Toulouse, France, which is the pretty much the headquarters, the major city by the headquarters of XP. 113 entries.
I watched your video when you were over there, Merrill.
Oh, man, that was incredible.
I bet you
there.
was. Yeah.
And they're great people, too. I sincerely mean that. I couldn't be prouder. That's the truth. I know there's a lot of people that want me to continue to rate detectors. No, I'm very happy. So I hope you all understand. 128 entries again. 130. All right, it slowed down. 131. All right, get your final pound Deus 2 entries in. 134. And it's about time to draw. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
That's a neat thing. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Gold Water Hunter. There. Oh, look at that. Look at the logo right there. Look at the logo. You were meant to get that. Deus 2 in the logo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the video description of this video. You'll see my email address there, and you're just going to send me your address, and I will send it out. Okay. This is going better than I thought. I was like really nervous to do this. But the StreamYard actually made it pretty easy. Um, yeah, 259 people, and yeah, let's keep going. All right, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put video number 2 on. I've got a video question for Terry, and it is based off one of his books. Let's add it to stage. Let's go. This is called A Dream Hunt. This next story is one of my better stories and recoveries. A couple years ago, I was detecting with my good friend Jerry. We had split up, and Jerry had walked way ahead. I was digging a lot of targets, and I was paying absolutely no attention to my phone. All of a sudden, another close friend comes running up to me saying Jerry was into treasure coins and wanted us to join him. He had found 2 8 reals and what happened to be an old Spanish cross. Jerry had called me several times without me answering. He finally called another friend of ours and asked him to pick me up and then join him. When we finally got to Jerry, I walked up to him and he dumped his scoop that he had just dug and a gold ring rolled out. Each of us experienced some of the most fantastic detecting possible. Coins were everywhere and we all had a great time. But Jerry was having one of those days that most people dream about. I called my wife later that night and told her I was going to be late and that I was digging steadily. My wife asked me what I was finding, and I told her I didn't know because it was very dark out and none of us had a flashlight. And here is a picture of some of Jerry's finds. The following day, Jerry and I detected the same area and found this 8 real laying right on top of the ground. I had it looked at by an expert, and my coin is dated 1711 from the Mexico Mint. The second photo of my coin shows a small O, large M, and a J. The O above the M indicate it was minted at the Mexico Mint. The J for the assayer, Jose Eustacio de Leon Ilosa, who was the Mexico Mint assayer, mint master from 1705 until 1724. Now the story gets even more interesting. When I found my real, I texted another friend of mine with a picture of the coin. He stopped by where we were detecting, and when I told him that I found my coin lying right on top of the sand, he said if that was the case, he was going to look around. He walked about 20 feet from where I was detecting and found another 8 real laying right on top of the sand. Apparently, the high waves had washed them up, and my friend found an 8 real without a detector. Terry, here is my question. In 2024, do you think what happened? Do you think this was possible? And secondarily, how long ago was this?
Oh, wasn't that long ago. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. And yes, it's very possible. It depends on the weather. If we get some beach erosion, it just on that particular night, my wife and I are creatures of habit. We eat at 5. I called her at 8 that night to say I'm going to be late. I'm already 3 hours late. And I honestly didn't know what I was finding. I couldn't see anything. But I mean, we were just digging steady. If you swung your detector, you got 3 signals. It was just unreal. One of the things I got that night, and I didn't realize, was this old pewter spoon handle. And I was watching a video of a guy detecting his Green Mountain metal detectors. And he had the identical spoon handle from one of the mountains of Vermont. And we actually did a show together. He found a Spanish coin, pewter handle, and I did the same. But back to those coins, you see those first coins that Jerry found. Those are the ones that washed in. That's what they look like. This is the one that I found that night. Look at the difference in the shape. I mean, this coin is just gorgeous. It's the best coin I've ever found. See, and then what happened is this was during a full moon phase. We were getting some rough weather and stuff like that. But I don't know if you've noticed, but when you get the rough weather and that, and I don't know what causes this, but about every 10th or 12th or 15th wave, you get that one rogue wave that just comes way in, and it hits it just, I don't know how to predict it. But what happens is it washes these coins in and this one out. And then as you got all kinds of pressure coming in. And then as the wave goes back out, there's not much, and it drops stuff on the sand. And I mean, that was I had, almost 2 weeks of just phenomenal detecting all up high.
all up high. That is such
All up
a
high.
valuable tip right there.
Yeah.
I always gravitate low, and I'm about to change my approach right there.
Well,
Um,
it's got to be some erosion. You look for the black sand. You look for the
yeah.
cuts. What I do is I stop at these beaches, accesses, run out on the access, and I look north and I look south. And if I see a spot where the water is coming in farther, that's a low area. That's what I call a bowl or a riptide. And when you see that, don't even turn your detector on until you get there. That's the spots to go. I mean, they're just phenomenal. And they happen all year long. These riptides, you don't need a hurricane for erosion. A riptide, I mean, those things are phenomenal.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of comments coming in. I'm going to try to, I very much want the audience to be a part of, the asking of the questions. I don't want it just to be me. So keep asking them. I'm going to be looking at comments. You mentioned the bowls and the bowl shapes. I have a video that will discuss, ask you about that in a second. I see Liz is in the house digging Canuck. Always happy to have her. Let me see.
I was talking to her online today. She's asleep.
Nice.
Hi, Liz.
We're just getting a lot of positive reinforcement, and I'm happy to see that.
Okay, well, I should elaborate more on that story. I called this friend of mine, and he was there the night before when we were late. See, and he happened to be right in the area. And I had found this coin, and I'm gritting. I'm big on gritting back and forth and that stuff. And I'm gritting toward the way he walked. And he walked, and he turned around, and he goes like this with his finger, with his big crappy grin on his face. He walked up and showed me the coin. He said, "Are you mad?" Because I would have probably got it shortly. And I said, "No, I'm not mad." I said, "This just makes a heck of a story." People have searched for years and I found a Spanish coin. He just got one, without a detector.
Okay, I'm just processing all of that.
Jim Collins said, "Awesome show." I thank you, Jim. When I was the county sheriff, my son called me up one time and he said, "Dad, where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in my office. You called me." And he said, "Well, Dad, you're supposed to be talking to my class in school." And I said, "Well, Tim, you didn't say anything." He said, "Yeah, I forgot." And I said, "Well, when am I supposed to be there?" He said, "Right now." So it's 10 miles away. I went red lights. I didn't turn the siren on. See, and I get down there and I go in and I talk to his class. He was second or third grade. See, it was the end of the day kind of. And I told my son, I said, "Why don't you just ride home with me? I'll take the rest of the day off." And as we drove into the yard, my wife was out in the yard. He jumped out of the car, all excited. He said, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy gave the best talk at school today, and he only swore 3 times." See, so I'm trying real hard now. I did 20 years of law enforcement, 4 years in the Navy. One occasionally slips out.
This is an adult audience that we can all take it. It's all good. So here's a question for you. It might be for me too. I'll say really quickly. I've been playing around this summer. I've gone to 99 tones, and Crater Maker. I have a video coming out on the XP channel very soon that discusses this. But for Terry, what's your favorite program when hunting the beach with the XP Deus 2?
It's Beach 2. And it's used it, and it's the one that's on the detector. I've got some hotter programs that work, but overall, the Beach 2 does really well for me. And I also, I want the volume up. I don't want it real loud, but I want to hear the volume because and if you hear something on the beach, if it makes a noise, dig it up. I can't believe I've seen guys out there and they're standing there going back and forth with their coil, and then they'll go sideways back, listen, try to determine whether to dig it. It seems to me it'd be just easier to scoop it up and look at it. Then you know for sure,
Yeah.
So the Beach 2 is what I like it, and it sure treated me well.
I love this question right here. When the state of Florida replenishes the beaches, doesn't that cover the coins and rings? Does it go out and cover the reefs? I have something to say, but I'm actually going to shut my mouth. Let's let Terry answer this, and then I'll give my.
I think what the state of Florida does in replenishing his beaches, and it's wrong. It is so wrong. It's just unreal. This beach, they're putting garbage sand on. They say they're pumping it in from offshore, and they are. But for every one truckload they pump in from offshore, they're bringing, 10 trucks that are from inland, where they're just garbage sand. And on the sand that they're bringing in, it's a lot darker sand, so it's going to hold the heat. The turtles, it's a big deal about the turtles. It used to be that we had to shut our lights off, and from the 1st of April, no lights towards the water because of the turtles. Now they allow them to dump this garbage on the beaches right through the turtle season, and it does wash out. It covers the reefs and kills the reef. When we first started, it smothers the reef. When we first come down there, we used to see the dolphins close to shore. Now you see them way out because they've killed that first reef. So what do? They go in there with a bunch of cement blocks to make artificial reefs, and one of their things rolled in. It's just wrong. You talk to any of the people that salvage divers and stuff like that, they say now that they're going to have to blow through about 10 foot of sand to get down to where the good stuff is. I'm really opposed to it. I really am. Somebody making a lot of money.
Interesting. My thought was like, I wonder if they ever accidentally pumped in some, pirate coins with it, but it
They,
sounds like
they probably do. They probably do. But what it does is they've got a great big. It looks like a big dumpster with holes in it, and the sand goes into that first and screens out all that stuff. And I went down and talked to the guy because they're right by where we live, see. And I said, "What do you do with all this stuff? Because there's got to be good stuff in there." And he said, "We take it out to the dump and haul it." And boy, did I suck up to that guy. I said, "Can you let me know when you do it? I'd like to follow you out on it." And of course, that didn't work out. Never got back to me.
there was a funny occurrence on Facebook last summer. Somebody, Timu or Amazon or something like that, they sold this set of like fake Spanish coins. And I guess somebody was trying to troll beach metal detectorists and just threw that set of fake coins out. I think they were made of zinc. And the same reactions came from people. It's like, oh my God, I hit a Spanish coin. And then you see the patina of it, and you could clearly tell that it's like Fugazi. I almost fell for that too, but it's almost as bad as nothing's as bad as pumping in sand.
Priya doesn't make it any different either. It's still fake.
That's right. That's right. Fake is
I
fake.
have a lot of people show me them, all excited, and it just kind of hurts to say no, that's not real.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's better to learn the right way, and what is real. Okay, you got a question from Daniel. What's the furthest north you found Spanish treasure? Any on the Space Coast?
Yes, yes, I have. And that's as far as I'm going to go. I found the 1,500 coins north, way north.
Okay, I'm going through the question. Oh my God, you guys are writing a lot.
I think there's Spanish coins all the way up to the Daytona. I know that there's a lot of Spanish coins further north. The Treasure Coast is just one small part. And there's many, many more ships just in 1715. There's 1,600 ships. There's obviously 1,500 ships, and there's, more than Spain. There's French ships. They just found a couple of French ships from 1500s, and that's up by the Cape Canaveral. They found them a couple years ago.
Sheila wants to know, did you ever run into sharks at night detecting? I did.
I did too.
Yep.
I went out one day and it was a full moon and the tide had gone way out, and it was at Melbourne Beach. And as I went out, just knee water, and then all of a sudden there was a big trough that went parallel to the beach, and that was a little over my waist. And of course, I'm all excited. I jumped into it, and as I'm going along, just happy as heck, searching, and I, out of the side of my face, I could see this lady jumping up and down, waving. And, I took my headphones off and she hollered, "Shark." And I looked around. They had cleaned the whole beach. The shark was right behind me, just following me, and his tail was out of the water.
Oh,
I think the frequency of the detector attracts them, and of course I just jumped out of the trench and the shark turned around and went back. But I had one other incident where there was actually a tide pool. It was pretty deep, and I was in there detecting. I thought I saw something big, but when I left, a lady jumped in there was swimming. She just got bit by the shark. It wasn't a bad bite, but she definitely got bit. And I've had things.
This is a repeat question in here, and I'm trying to get. I told you guys to spam it. If your question's not getting answered, what scoop does Terry use?
Okay, I got it's out of a company in Texas. It's called the Extreme, and they sent me a free one. And it's an expensive detector, and it's worth every penny. It's been, it's really good.
They do make great stuff, and that's coming from somebody who makes beach scoops too, and they make excellent stuff. There's no question about that. Um, um, this is an interesting question right here. Do you drop the reactivity on beach too?
Sometimes, if I'm getting, but what happened? I went through for several years, and then this Anthony that showed me where if I press that top right button, it'll go through and change the frequency. And boy, that has been a game changer for me. I mean, I hunted for several years, didn't even know it was on the detector. But boy, does it make a difference.
I see a repeat question here. We did go over this one already. Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, I use the beach too.
Oh,
In fact, I use the beach too on club hunts. And and it's really when they have a competition hunt, you got 40 or 50 guys, or maybe even 100 guys with detectors. Some of them got the same detector you had, but darn few will be out there detecting the beach too in the middle of the field. And you don't get the interference. Otherwise, what happens, you get too close to a guy, he blanks you out, and so that's one of my little tricks.
got it.
Well, for me.
This is one that I'm really tuned into right now. What size coil is your favorite for the beach?
I think it's not the 15-inch coil. It would be the standard. Was that 13-inch coil?
Standard XP gives you a bunch of choices. There's 9, 11, and 13. I know I've been experimenting with the 9 after going 13 for so many years. It's just you get the field is very strong, with the 9, and you get smaller stuff, but there's a lot of smaller stuff on the beach. I've been using it in the black sand areas, and I've been killing it this summer. Um, for years I've used the oversized coil on the beach, but this is a sea change for me.
I don't like the oversized coil, and not that they don't work. Is I've had 5 different surgeries on my arm, the rotator cuff, and it's torn now again,
Right.
and it's just too heavy.
Yep.
And and what happens with the smaller coil, it forces me to slow down. I'm not covering as much area, see, so I've got to slow down so I'm not skipping spots. And the slower I go, the more I find. It's amazing.
Terry, we got almost 300 people in here. I see a bunch of people just joined. I just want to remind everybody we have links to Terry's books in the video description. And it is my hope, that you check out his books. For me, like, this is such a thrill because, like, long before Metal Detecting NYC, I was reading his books and I was studying up on the beach. This is one of my sources. And yes, I make a lot of beach videos. Sometimes you could hear, maybe I'm complimenting myself too much with this. I was going to say you could hear Terry's teaching through me, but, Terry has such a great way of telling a story and sprinkling in the lesson with it. I highly recommend his books. I highly do.
I thank you, Merrill. I really think I
Oh,
had fun writing them.
my
I just
friend.
enjoy.
Yep.
I'm a storyteller, no question.
We're international. We have somebody watching from Ukraine.
I am one of their scoops.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Terry, on average, how many days a week do you go detecting?
My wife tells everybody that one year when we were down on the Florida on the Treasure Coast, I missed one day of detecting for the whole 6 month season we were down there.
Wow.
And I tell everybody my wife can be a real butt on Christmas. I mean, I don't spend all day out there, but I usually, and I live, right by the beach. So I do a lot. Now I'm slowing down now as I'm getting older. I'm 83 years old, and it's time to slow down a little bit, no question.
Doesn't seem it. You said you got 3 pirate coins last year. I don't think that's slowing down.
No, I didn't get them last year. I got them the year before. Last year I didn't get any. I did good on gold, but I didn't get any pirate or spirit. And I think that's the only year that I haven't got any. But they were nourishing the beaches all year last year. It's terrible, and they're going to start right away again this fall when I get there.
Got it. I just want to acknowledge my buddy Chase is here. I hunted with him 2 days ago, I think now, when I was down in Florida. Oh my goodness, all these questions. All right, let's go on to the next segment. Just to keep this going. Um, yeah, here we go. Let's go on to the next segment, and then we'll ask more questions, and we'll do another giveaway. He looks for. Yeah, check out this cover. That's Now, I've read all of Terry's books. You should too. And this question is based on what I know Terry looks for. Yeah, check out this cover. That's pretty incredible. This is from Terry's book, Detecting the Treasure Coast, Terry Shannon. And this is one that stands out to me and stuck in my head. It's about reading the beach. Riptides or Bowls is the title of the section. I believe that one of the most important skills you could develop is the ability to read the beach. This isn't hard, it just takes some common sense. Driving along the beach, stopping at different beach accesses, looking for low areas, you may see an area where the water seems to be coming in farther toward the dunes. This is caused by an area of the beach being washed away, forming what I call a bowl. These so-called bowls are caused by what are called riptides. The waves wash in, and as they flow back out, they drag sand with them. Of all the things to watch for, this is probably the most important because these will form basically all year. I call them bowls because they are often shaped like half of a bowl, but I have seen extended areas with several bowls that extend over a large area. When the bowls form, they will often work their way back close to the dunes. What you now have is an area where the sand has been washed away, and you can now reach areas with your detector that have been covered for years. Often when you find one of these bowls, you will find fishermen standing right where you want to detect. As the sand washes out, small fish feed on the nutrients that wash out with the sand. Where small fish congregate, bigger fish feed on the small fish, thus the fishermen. That is why people fishing also look for these bowls. I usually just ask if they mind if I detect there and ask how the fishing has been. I have never received a negative reply. It just makes it more comfortable when those around you give their blessing. And this is what a bowl looks like. Here's another example of what a bowl looks like. So we can generalize that Terry looks for low and eroded beaches. Now, Florida has a coastline that is very similar to New York, where you have beaches right next to each other. From reading your books, I gather that you checked several beaches over the course of a day. Have you ever seen normal sand conditions in the majority of areas and one beach that absolutely got hit? One beach that is really low. In other words, my question is, can beach erosion be beach specific?
That's a good question, Merrill. And the answer, is what I want to say is yes. What happened, I can look at 10 different beaches and they all seem the same. And the 11th one, there it is. Or I've been out on the beach and I walk around the point and there's nothing, just walking, nothing, go around the point and there it's just amazing. And they can pop up anywhere. And when you see the fishermen, they know when they see that's where the fish are going to be. And I had one where I walked, I think, about a mile and a half. I was walking from our camper, at least that long, and nothing. And then all of a sudden, this area is just loaded. There's like a 30-foot spot full of stuff. And I asked the guy if he mind moving, and he moved. He was really gracious. And geez, the first thing I pulled out was a real bronze, beautiful ship's plate, and I got a honker of a diamond ring out of there. And so normally I don't show my rings and stuff like that because it just saves some problems. But the guy was so nice, I went up and showed him, and you know, he asked if he could show his friend, and his friend was Bob, and Bob asked me all kinds of questions, and every time I was in that area, here come Bob asking questions. And one time I'm down there, and this old guy hollered at me. He said, "What are you doing? What are you looking for?" And I said, "Rings." And this guy said, "Well, there's an old fellow old fellow that hunts down here and finds all kinds of diamond rings. I found one, and I'm the old fellow. I ended up talking to 3 guys that Bob had told that story to. but but yes, Jerry and I've been out. The time that I was digging all that stuff, I wasn't about to move. Jerry moved on, went around the corner, and that's when he hit the Spanish coins. And so, if you're not finding anything, move, shoot and scoot. That's the word.
Incredible. Terry, I just figured out how to star comments so that I could go back to them and like really, look while you're talking here. So we got luck or skill, take the luck. And you said that to me before. Or you actually, that was in one of your books. What am I saying? All right, we got that. Hide. This is an important one here, Terry. This is from Tinks, who has been watching my channel for many years. Tinks, good to hear from you, brother. Does Terry think I should have another Guinness to watch the rest of the show? He's watching from Ireland, if I remember correctly. So,
by all means, I used to drink on a regular basis, and I noticed that I got tall and good looking. So it's not a bad thing.
that is great. So this is Eric McCulley. So do super high tides and minus tides tend to leave sand up high? If so, what strips the sand off, wind or waves? Seems I do better like 2 or 3 days after the lesser tide pulls more sand off. So it sounds like he's asking, you could get a big event and sand could definitely be pushed in. We've all seen that. And then, maybe there's lesser tides that strip the sand away.
There's no question about it. The wind will, take the surface sand, but it ain't going to move a lot of sand, no matter how well. A hurricane, of course, but it's the water that moves it, and so it's a wave. But the waves have got to come from an angle. I mean, if you get the waves coming from the northwest, it's going to cut, the beach. It's going to wash out stuff, and where I have. Really lucky. I'm living right on the Treasure Coast. We used to have a motor home and then a camper, and now we've actually bought a trailer home in this park, and we're very close to the beach. And I'm out there every day. When I look at the beach, I probably looked at it the day before. I can see if there's a difference. So if you're hunting an area, why not stick a couple sticks in the wood or in the sand to see if there's any movement? If you're going to go back there in a couple of days, you get 3 or 4. I can tell by looking at it. And sand can move on one beach. You go around the corner and it hasn't moved at all. It's amazing. I don't know what causes that, but I know it happens.
You got a whole lot of questions here. And actually, when I went to that video, I noticed that a bunch of people like jumped out of the stream, meaning that they were like, come on, he didn't ask my question. So it's clear that a lot of people want to ask Terry questions. I'm going to be looking for those questions. If I skipped you, just go on, write that question again. I know how to star comments now. So, perhaps ask again. I don't want to frustrate anybody. I know my answer to this, but we'll let Terry answer this. What is the first book you'd recommend for someone who's going to the Treasure Coast to detect for the first time? I kind of put you on the spot for this. This is a no-brainer.
It's a Detecting the Treasure Coast. That book, I sell more of that book than the other 5 books that I've written combined.
Yep. It's linked in the video description. But by all means, just click on the link in the video description. And, it's great. All of Terry's books are fantastic.
The only complaint I've ever had on that book is an old fellow that detects quite a lot. He told me I'd tell too much.
People can be very strange.
I recommend staying on one beach or keep going to new ones. There again, it's the conditions. If you get out there and you're not finding anything, move. You can swing all day with the best metal detector, and if everything is under too much sand, you're not going to find anything. Yeah. And these spots that produce are often, not a very big area. And then I mentioned earlier on, I don't know if anybody picked up on it, I was down by the water detecting. I said this earlier, and I looked over and I could see spots of orange sand, and that orange sand is the original beach. And what it was is the ghost crabs digging down, and there was enough of the old sand or a new sand washed away that was down to the old sand. My God, it was unreal. Jerry and I and Dwayne one time hit a spot that we just dug steady. I found 40 shipwreck coins, and that first day, and Dwayne got as many, and so did Jerry, and we were just excited. They were washing in, and it was just unreal. We were getting some erosion. Turned out they were Australian coins from 1960 to 1970.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I went back this year and picked up a couple more in that spot. It just now, what kind of ship was carrying? Because we went back 2 or 3 days. So all in all, I got at least 50 or 60 of these coins, and the other guys got as many. That's a lot of coins. It had to be a chest of coins or some darn thing. A lot of mysteries on the beach.
Mikey G, Metal Detecting Long Island says, do you recommend staying at one beach and keep going to or just going to new beaches?
I recommend checking the beaches. Get up an extra hour and just take a look at the beaches, and you'll get used to it. It's a acquired skill. But when you look, if you're looking down the beach, north or south, and if you see the water is coming in farther, that means that it's shallower there. The water can go up farther. It's been eroded. Head for that spot. That's the key. That's your bowls. Or if you have the movement from the north, where you get the domes, where it washes out.
Got it. I think it's time to give away another copy of Terry's book. So let's do that. If I could remember how to do this, I'm doing pretty well so far. Okay.
You're doing great. I'm real proud of you, Merrill.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. So this time, this is like the limit of my multitasking ability, people. Just saying.
You're way ahead of me. Way ahead of me.
Okay.
I wrote an article one time about technology and how much I hate it.
Oh, it just keeps getting more advanced and more advanced. All right, start collecting comments. Treasure Coast is, let me just share the screen, present, share screen. I have to talk myself through it, see? Here we go. So this is what you're putting in, and it's Treasure Coast. And we're going for the another copy, an autographed copy of Terry's book, Detecting the Treasure Coast, Terry Shannon. And you wouldn't believe how many rings are on the cover. That's a question for you, Terry. If you had a choice between, it's the question, history or treasure, would you rather have a big gold ring, or would you rather have a historic Spanish coin?
I love the history. I've done well on the rings.
Yep.
These are my wife's rings.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah, she gets first choice. And a real sad story. I sold my Harley Davidson motorcycle.
I read that today.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like the history.
Right
I tell
on.
everybody, if you're looking to learn the history, talk to the old people in town. And all of a sudden it just dawned on me, I'm one of those old people.
I'm getting there too, my friend. 115, 116, keep going. I'll give you another 10 seconds to get your hashtags in, hashtag Treasure Coast, and the winner is going to win a book. We'll do back to back with the giveaways now too. 122. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Somebody just got it in. Oh, somebody else just got it in. Here we go. Oh, 125. Somebody else just got it in. Somebody else. You keep going, people. 127. 129. Oh, you guys don't want me to push draw, do you? All right.
Thank you,
stop. Let's go. Let's see who gets this. Otto Fierro, congratulations. You get a autographed copy of Terry's book, detecting the treasure coast. Okay, congratulations, buddy. What you're going to do is you're going to email me. Just go to the video description. My email is right there, and just email me. And yep, and I will send you your book.
I hope you enjoy, Otto.
I know I sure did. Terry, how are you feeling? I don't want to impose and keep you too long. We've been at it for an hour and 15. Do you have like another 20 minutes? Is that okay?
As long as you want. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time.
I'm glad you're having fun. I'm having a blast also. Thank you so much, Terry. All right, so I promised you guys back-to-back giveaways. And yeah, we're giving away the Day is Two hat. So let me there you, it's not adjusted to my head. It's got the adjustment thing in the back. Yeah, I just hurt my head. But yeah, we're giving away the Day is Two hat. It's an awesome hat. When you have it at the right size, it's very comfortable. Terry, do you have one of those?
No, I don't.
Now you do. Now you do. It's the least I could do.
You know, so I really like people that give me the Thank you, Merrill.
You're welcome, Terry.
You're welcome. No, it's been a great evening, and I thank everybody that's tuned in. I know a lot of you folks, and I just appreciate it.
Me too, Terry. I'm really enjoying talking to you. And again, when I was looking for answers, when I was getting killed at the beach and finding sand, I did some research. I came across Terry's books. I read them. It is my hope that people in the audience get enlightened and read them too. All you got to do is go to the video description. The links are right there. Okay, start collecting responses. Let me share the screen once again. Share screen. So now what you're putting in is hat. It's a Day is Two hat. Two entries, 17 entries. I was going to say there was like 44 entries. I was going to say there must be a lot of Mind Lab and Nocta people in the audience because we got off to a slow start there, but now we're up to 80. Now we're up to 90. Okay, there we go. 99, 108, 115, 118. Spam it, people. Spam it. 119, 123, 127, 128, 130, 131, 134, 36. It's still moving. Spam it, 137 hat. 3 letters plus a hashtag. 140. I think that's the record now. 141. This stream is taking all of my processing power. 142. All right. You got 5 seconds. I mean it this time. It's hashtag hat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Let's see who gets it. Scott Johnson, congratulations. You have a Day is Two hat coming to you. All you got to do is email me and just look at the video description. See, I can't get the words out of my mouth. Okay, stop sharing and back to here. And there we go. Oh, and here we go. Otto won last time, but here I had one of his questions here. What would be your bucket list detecting trip, Terry? If there was one location you would always dream of going to.
I would like to go to England,
England.
And I haven't made that trip. And, that's got to be a bucket lister for everybody, I would think. But I run into a young man one time on the beach, And he said, if you're going to metal detect, you've got to detect the treasure coast at least once. And I believe that's true. I have no desire right now to go any other place other than the treasure coast. I just love it down there. And it's been good to me. It's been real good to me. And
That's your stomping grounds right there.
yeah.
I actually just I didn't want to say no. I had to say no. This was the first week of school for me, and Detectival is coming up, and XP invited me to Detectival. And it was so hard to say no because that's a dream of mine too, and I've never done it. Um, yeah. Let's move on topics. That's a sore topic. I really wanted to go, and I will go in the future, but oh my goodness. Anywho, comments. All right, so let me go back to the live. Um, and let me look for comments. So now, ask for questions for Terry. You might have asked it before. This chat, especially with the giveaways, like really moved. So let's get those comments down here. Here's one for you, Terry. Terry, what do you wear to protect your feet and keep sand out? And do you have any tips for detecting in black sand?
Okay. One of the things, well, the first thing, I go barefoot, and I end up at the doctor's office at least twice every year to get something out of my foot. They give me these pills. And I asked the doctor the last time, I said, well, why don't you make me an extra prescription so I don't have to come in and see you? And he wouldn't do it. And on the black sand, you detect the black sand. You have a tip for just slow and slow. And if you get a lot of interference, turn your sensitivity down. But all the old timers say, look for the black sand when you see the black sand. And that's true. And I don't know why, but that's true, other than the fact that the black sand is normally lower.
I speak to the people that make the detectors. I'm blessed to be able to do that, and they know that the Deus 2 is a special detector, especially on the beach. There's a mode on the Deus 2 called magnetic accept, and to me, it sounded like reject was the natural choice, and I might have even messed that up in one of my videos. If you see black sand, what you're going to do is put it in magnetic accept. It's in the ground balance menu. You just scroll to it, ground balance, magnetic accept. Give it a shot in the black sand. Oh my goodness, Michael Berryhill. Um, my friend, you have always been so generous to me and supporting the channel. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate this. I see that we have some international winners, and that's fine. We're going to send it. So again, this really helped. Send it overseas. The people who won. So very generous of you, as always, Michael. Thank you so much.
Say, backing up on the black sand, I should mention, dig everything. Your detector will give you a reading, and it's very accurate down to 7 or 8, 9 inches. But when it gets down below that, your readings aren't always accurate. And if it makes a noise, dig it. On the beach. I mean, it's different out in the fields and stuff like that, but on the beach, dig it.
A lot of people want you down in Florida. I don't want to put you on the spot, with the wind, but there's a lot of people that are saying, when are you coming down to Florida again? So
I'll be down there the 1st of October. I had a little trouble this year. I sent out a lot of emails and, different stories on stuff that I found. I got bit by a deer tick this year, and I have never been that sick. And
I'm glad you're okay. I remember that. I saw that. Yeah.
that's
I'm
the
glad
sense.
you're okay.
Them little bugs they pack a punch out there.
Yeah, they do. This is a good question.
Do I really dig all signals? And the answer is yes. On the beach, I do. I shouldn't. I'm running to an area where the area is loaded with pennies, and I might start, you know, ignoring the penny signals. But the trouble with the penny signals is that the penny signal on the DS2 is exactly the same as the lead sinkers, the pyramid sinkers. And if you miss these pyramid sinkers, that pyramid sinker, when you find that, that's a clue. It's heavy. And when you find something heavy, there's going to be other heavy stuff there, like gold. When you start to find a lot of sinkers, you got a pretty good chance of pulling out a gold ring.
Right on. Okay, do you think there's a lot of treasure in the off-limit dunes along the Treasure Coast?
Without a doubt. Yes, very much so.
You said far back on the beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, without a doubt. It's the best finds that I've had have come out of the dunes. And this last, not last year, the year before last, the cut went way back, and I was in it up on my belly a lot of times trying to get underneath these branches and that stuff detected. And that's, I got three Spanish coins in those conditions, right up against the dunes.
Okay, got another one right here. Okay, this star button really helps a lot. Joe, here we go. Um, okay, I had to click this. Have you ever had someone stalk you metal detecting? I'm gonna say, like, while I'm detecting, I've had a bunch of people just like follow along, like, the end of Forrest Gump, where he's like doing the running across America, and then he has people following them. I've had that. It's just a funny question. You ever have a crowd following you, detecting, Terry?
I had them try to follow me with, what do you call it, these, oh, I'm having one of them brain things. Um, yes, I've had them follow me. I even had a fellow put a tracker on my car.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, and I was able to track that fellow down and actually had him charged. I mean, I'm a retired cop. I have enemies, plus I have a lot of treasure. Are they trying to see my movement if I'm away from home to break into my house and take away? And no, I've had it. And it used to be when, Jerry and I'd go with that, I'd often leave my car at a special and then hop in with Jerry and go someplace else because they would be following me. And it bothers you at times. Most of the time, if you come up and ask me, I'll tell you where I want to go. But if you follow me, I resent that. That's
Terry, since you have a history in law enforcement, I'm going to show you this. Beach Metal Detective says, in full disclosure, I hate the smell of ketchup, so I often leave ketchup packets and cover them back up. I'm sorry, guys. We know who it is now, Terry. We know who it is because I know those those ketchup packets. They sound just like gold rings, a little bit bigger. I could kind of hear the difference now. But yeah, kidding around a little bit. That's
we had a couple of guys. I don't know who they were. A couple of incidents where they cut pennies and quarters,
mhm.
and they sound really good. And when you scoop them up, it goes right through your scoop. And you end up looking for them. And what percentage of jewelry is fake? Lately, the vast majority of jewelry I find lately is fake.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's just gold is no longer possible, fashionable, and it seems like they're paying $400 and $500 for a titanium ring. I just don't understand that.
Yes, that blows my mind too.
Yeah.
All right, one more question, and then we're going to move on to the next video. What is the best time of day to hunt the beach?
I usually try to get out there at least 3 hours before low tide. I try to follow the tides out because as the tides are coming and going out, they're dropping sand. You're going to get wet, but as I'm going out, you know, uh, there was an area on the beach where I really picked up. I found some really amazing stuff at that spot, and there was a branch that looked like an elbow, and it was sticking out of the sand. And when I could see that, it was good. And I'd be checking at the end of the tide, as the tide all went out, that branch was covered again. While I was there, it dropped that much sand. So, I try to follow the tides out. Now, that's just contrary to what I said, finding things up high. But it's the beach conditions. If there's been no erosion up high, you hunt low. That's.
Got it. Okay, so just in case if anybody is joining us late, in the video description, we got links to Terry's books, and I highly recommend that you purchase them. They've made a big difference with me. They're what I went to when I was searching for answers at the beach. Again, it's a thrill of mine to have Terry here. I've got two more videos to do, and let's move. We've been going for hour and a half now. I want to be considerate. We'll stop before 2 hours because that's, I've been in these streams. It's a lot to think, and we gotta. So anyway, let's. This is an excerpt from one of my videos with a question at the end. Also move sand, but if you're talking about the wet, oops. Terry, this is an excerpt from this video, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Part 1, Wind speed and direction.
And part 2, wave speed and direction.
Wind moves water, water moves sand. I mean, wind can also move sand, but if you're talking about the wet of the beach, you want a lot of movement in that section. It rattles up the treasure. The ocean is a repository of treasure. When there is a huge onflow onto the beach, say a big storm offshore, it looks just like this under the water. You get these eerie, creeping dunes of sand, and you better believe if treasure was dropped there, say somebody dropped a ring, it's going to be spit up upon the beach. But although waves seem to go in and out, that onflow that you just saw does not happen every day. And yes, I got a haircut mid-video. Let's go. Terry, my question to you is, have you ever had a good day in very sanded conditions at the beach?
I suppose I have. I can't think of any. And most of my spectacular days have been when the conditions are right. And to be honest with you, when the beach is really sanded in, I move on. I'm looking for that spot. So that's a tough question for me to answer. When you get the high winds and the winds are coming out of the northwest, it's cutting the beaches, and that to me is a real important key. And people have done, and I mean, including myself, in the dry sand. They have what's called a towel line. And it may pay you to stop at a beach, mid-afternoon, and just run out and take a look and see where all the beach towels are, where everybody's congregated, and then later that evening go back out. The only problem with that is that there seems to be so many people doing it.
Yes.
And I believe that for every ring that's lost in the dry sand, at least 8 or 10 are lost out in the water. Your hands shrink up.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
And actually, I found 2 rings. I was with a friend of mine. 2 rings stuck together. It was a man's ring and a woman's ring. They put it right in together. And, I think that they were on the beach towel. They were laying flat. A wave come up and just slid them back into the water. I got them right at the water's edge.
Right on. Okay, so I want to spread the word. Again, if you want to purchase a book, it is in the video description, the links. Terry has many choices. He said this is the one that is the most popular. And I mean, I have many favorites, but we're giving away a autographed copy of this. So back to the giveaway tool. And this time we're going to write, Terry, what should we write?
What do you mean? Just put Treasure Coast. That's all you need, or something.
Treasure Coast, you got it. And start collecting comments. So it's Treasure Coast with the hashtag. Let me share that. You guys can see. There we go. Treasure Coast. So if you stuck around, we're still giving stuff away. And we also have to give away what your friend Dwayne gave us.
Dwayne is just a super guy. I'm so glad I met that man.
And I didn't show you what it is yet. So, yep.
He's the guy I go to when technology raises its ugly head.
It often does.
He's got an answer. And I called him up and I said, I need a cover. I've got a new book coming out. It'll be next month for sure. Probably the first part of the month, actually. And I said, I need something for the cover. 10 minutes later, he just sent me a phenomenal cover.
That's awesome.
Yeah. In fact, he sent me the cover on the one Treasure Coast Treasures. It's just he's quite a guy.
That's fantastic.
And he's married to a wonderful lady. Love her to death.
Great people tend to gravitate to each other. That's for sure.
Gee.
All right. I'm going to give everybody another 10 seconds. I see the entries still going in, 120, 122. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Still coming in. And here we go. And this one is for the book. BC Turtle, congratulations. You have the book coming to you. You're going to go into the video description. My email address is there. Just send me where I'm going to send this, and your book will be on its way. Congratulations. And let's go back, and let me actually show you. Stop sharing. So this time, this is a gift from Dwayne, and he gave a bunch of gifts. Let's actually go to that. This is a great thermos. Terry, you gave me one of these. You sent me one of these. And yeah, there's Terry's. Yep.
It's got a picture of my books on it.
Yep.
He also sent me.
Yep. I'm not giving mine away. I've got the same one right here, and I used it. I brought it to the beach with me, so I don't think.
And here, folks, is going to be the cover of my next book.
I think I'm one step ahead of you, my friend. Thanks, Dwayne. So we got a thermos. So showing you right here, and Florida metal detecting, and we're going to make that. We're going to say Florida. So it's hashtag Florida. Don't write anything yet. Okay, now you can. Let me show it to you. Present. I'm getting good at this. Share screen. There we go. And we are good. Florida. And big thanks to Dwayne for giving this.
If you look behind me here, see that banner there? Dwayne sent me that. It's got all my books on it and some seascape. He's a good man.
Good people tend to stick together. That's awesome.
Either that or I've got this pathetic look down to a science.
No. 103, 110.
You know, those thermoses are phenomenal. They
Yes.
really are. I carry mine
all forever.
Yeah, it does it. You know, you put some ice cubes in there. Day 2, there'll still be ice cubes in there. And I'm putting that stuff with that.
I had the same experience. I got to repeat that. Day 2, you put ice cubes in, you're still going to have the ice cubes in there. It really does a great job of, keeping something hot or cold.
Yeah, I carry mine in my backpack on the beach. And, you know, it's important that, you know, that you hydrate. And,
yep. Yes, it is. It sure is.
I'm leaving in the morning. I'm going to have one full of ice cubes and you know, a cold drink, and the other one's going to be hot coffee for my trip. So
I would listen. I'm about. Well, let me say this in a second. Let's finish this. Let's give you 5 seconds left. What I was going to say, it's my hope that we get at least 50 books sold tonight for Terry. Yeah, he didn't ask me to bring this up at all. This is all coming from me. It was his books were a difference maker for me. So, you guys need the same knowledge here. Wow, 138 people in on the drawing. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 140 and go. Christina, congratulations. You just won the thermos. It is coming to you. So congratulations.
Christina, you're going to love that thermos. It's just unreal. It's just.
Stop sharing. Okay. All right. One last video. Let's do that. Let's answer a few more questions and then we go. Here we go. Detecting the Treasure Coast. I got to give you. This excerpt is called Beach Conditions, and it is from Detecting the Treasure Coast. I got to give you a shot at that again.
There's 1,000 rings there.
Today we had several things planned, and my son, bless his heart, said, "Dad, why don't you go detecting? I have some things I have to get done." Enough said, I'm gone. We had a full moon, so the tides were very high, and with the addition of rough surf, there was sand movement in some areas. I walked a long way and found several areas that were loaded with targets. A lot of weeds and garbage were washing in, and I got hit once with a rogue wave that spun me around and actually knocked the scoop right out of my hand. The last step is a doozy. If we get a northwest wind when the beach is this low, we could have some fabulous detecting. Now, Terry, you mentioned a full moon there and high tides. How can knowing the phases of the moon help you as a metal detectorist?
You're just going to get more water coming up high, and you're going to have, and it's going to go farther out into the ocean. You're going to be able to detect areas that you'd have to wait. You'd have to wade to get out to some places where they're going to be just a wet sand. I tell everybody, if you're coming to the Treasure Coast, you're planning a trip, look at the conditions and try to make it during the full moon phase, maybe a day before and a couple of days after. And that's the key. You talked in your videos, about sand movement and erosion and all that sort of stuff. The full moon is, a big cause of that. And I'm really a believer in that. When I was a policeman, I always figured when a full moon, that's when the crazies come out. Well, maybe it's metal detectors are just crazy.
I was about to say the same thing.
I never thought of it until just now.
I thought about the same thing at the same time, Terry.
Did you really?
I did. Yes. I love night hunting. I'm a big fan. I hope a lot of people tried that. And actually, I might have even gotten that from Terry's book. I remember you mentioning the pulling something from the sand, feeling the shape, not knowing exactly what it is until you looked at it later. And that's always stuck in my head. Listen, I want to say this. I want to be considerate as a host. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes, which is a long stream. Terry is a phenomenal guest. Somebody who's been very influential to many people in metal detecting. I would like to ask, if you do not own one of his books, the links are in the video description. Check out one of his books. You might want to start with Detecting the Treasure Coast, but it'll make you want to read more. And he's got some great stuff. I guess I'm going to just say closing thoughts right here. Terry, do you have anything else that you want to say to the audience?
Well, first off, I thank every one of them for tuning in. I mean, it's really an honor to know you people or get to meet you people. And Merrill, I can't thank you enough. I mean, I can't believe how you're promoting my stuff, and I just really appreciate that. I'm gonna have to tell my wife that she's gonna have to be a little nice to her. I'm kind of a
Terry, I got to say, I appreciate you again. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I'm an educator, and I know how important that it is. And metal detecting has been great for both of us. It's not something that you could easily give up on. Like if you have a bad day, if you're gonna quit after one day, it's don't do that. It's gonna grow you. It's gonna grow your focus. It's gonna make you stick to things. For me, I mean, it's not even about that. It's about getting your steps in. We were talking about that before. There's health benefits to it. There's so many benefits to it, and become a scholar in it, learn about it. Great place to start is Terry's books. So, I'm hoping that he comes back to me, shoots me a text tomorrow and tells me, Merrill, we sold 50 books tonight. I would be absolutely thrilled. So
I would do.
Yeah.
And metal detecting is not a competition.
That's right.
It doesn't make any difference if you find one target and your buddy finds three. If you
Right.
think that's a great target, you've had a good time.
Right.
And the true treasure to me out there is the folks that are listening in tonight. The friends that I've made and the health benefits. I'm 83 years old. I had a guy come out, I think it was last year, and said he'd love to do what I'm doing, but he was too old. And I asked him how old he was, and he said 62. He had just let himself go. When I was a sheriff, and actually then when I come back as a police chief, we'd have a party for one of my officers and roast them, And 3 years later, I'm a pallbearer because they went home and sat down and didn't have the goals or the metal detecting. There's just no downside. It just, you know, and I've been really blessed. I've been lucky. Take the luck.
Sure. Terry, thank you so much. I want to say a big thanks to the audience. Let me just shout this out again. Beach Metal Detectives, thank you so much for the super chat. Um, Digging Up New York, thank you so much for the super chat. Florida Metal Detecting, thank you so much, for the super chat. Team Lynch, Beach Metal Detectorist, thank you so much for becoming a member of my channel once again. Metal Detecting Channel, thanks again for the super chat. Michael Berryhill, thanks again for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. And yeah, thank you, everybody. We'll be back with more. This is my first stream in a long time. Terry, thanks again, my friend.
Thank you. And, it's been an honor. It really has.
Same. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.